Good morning and happy Saturday, fellow collectors. This is Hisoka. Welcome back to the channel. It's probably been a while since I have posted anything. Just been really busy with school, work. I think I mentioned it a few times prior. Actually, you know what? I'm having deja vu. Feeling like I mentioned this in a video. Probably didn't upload it. But yeah, I'm getting towards the end of my semester. Lots of returns coming in, lots of things that I purchased, lots of things flipped and sold, and lots of deals coming through towards the end of the year. So I kind of wanted to start getting in the habit of recording things maybe at least once a week and trying to just go over things that I'm buying, things that I'm thinking about with the hobby as things kind of slow down, come to more of sort of like this equilibrium with between the hype and the selling and then people investing and then also just genuine people that seem interested in buying the cards for what they are and not really overhyping it. So today's video, I'm going to go talk a few things: collection purchases, sets. I got some PSA graded cards here, modern, EX series, some big sales that are happening here from my personal collection to fund some other things. So yeah, let's talk about some sales first of all. I don't know if I can mention specific numbers. I never quite asked ahead of time. But one card is missing here. There is a Dark Explorers Dark Ride that I sold for about $1,200. I don't think the person is public, so I mentioned the price. These two I made a deal for. So hopefully payment should be coming through today. I paid $187. This was the first card I bought since I came back into the hobby. I'm a huge fan of black and white era. God, this card looks good. Just the plasma series. This card has had some sales between $2,400 and $3,300. I can tell you that the agreed upon price was somewhere in between there. And yeah, I added this one together. This was originally the card that the person was purchasing, but when this, not that one, and not that one, and that one. When this one had sold, the person had decided to finally buck up and pay for the cards. So there's a lot of people that are of the mentality that they have a certain price in their mind that they want to pay for a card, and that works for some folks where they'll pay the cheapest price that they can, and not trying to be a lowball, but in a sense that they don't feel that the cards are worth that much, and so they're willing to wait. And I've met a few people like that have had cards pass through their hands and then all of a sudden the cards pop up. Or maybe they're just really good at finding those particular cards and hunting that specific niche where it's like that's all that they target and they're able to really focus and dial in on completing those collections. Other people just, as opportunities comes, they toss the price. If the people say yes, then they buy it. If they say no, they just move on. And so that was one of the people where they were constantly kind of debating some of these higher end cards, the population and things like that. And for certain sets, black and white era in particular, it's kind of like you can get away with paying lower prices because people aren't familiar with it. I know there was a UK seller that had several EX cards and several black and white cards for sale that were probably half the market price of what they were selling for. I don't know if that can be a discussion later on, but Instagram versus eBay, what is market price? Because it seems like Instagram, where you have a lot of private deals or people that reach out, end up paying a lot more than some of these eBay auctions or PWCC auctions. But most of us know that auctions end lowest on average, except kind of as we're experiencing this kind of hype mania, where you see these new record prices. Then it brings out the other cards. Those cards kind of hit lower prices and lower prices until it's like a race to the bottom. So you see that a lot with a lot of these cards. And sometimes it's worth waiting. Other times it's not. I'll mention that I purchased quite a few EX cards that were record prices, some that were close to that, and the cards have dropped to that level. So I'm not really bothered about it, especially if it's for a personal collection. Now, if you're trying to make money with this, I would say, yeah, it does matter for that. But to get back to hand, these two sold pretty close in price. And this one's going to a really good friend and collector. Ooh, I'm actually glad these two cards, I'm actually glad they're going to collectors, because I know there's one guy out there, his name has Flipper in it, and he was buying up a ton of these black and white eras because people weren't really valuing them, and he was just trying to hoard up a bunch of copies of it. So yeah, I'm happy that these two are going to fellow friends and collectors who are, well, I foresee these cards staying with them for a few years and not just to flip at the next turn. So these two cards are still for sale. I had a few people claim this and then not come through. This card, I haven't actually posted it on eBay yet, so I'll eventually do that soon. And hopefully I can get some sales, but that is the end of my black and white era collection. I thought I'd be able to come back into the hobby and buy up a lot of these cards. I didn't foresee them going up in price that much. And yeah, quickly I was just... I don't know if it was the wrong approach to have chased Wizards of the Coast and other cards to buy into flip, to buy into these other cards. Would it have been smarter to buy the cards I needed directly? That I don't know. I kind of feel sometimes that I missed opportunities. Maybe it would have been better to have gone after the lower pop, higher popularity, and also key cards. I kind of group those together because you have the low pop cards that are worth a lot. Then you have the popular characters, which obviously have a lot of fans, and the cards go for a lot. And then you also have the key card of the set, which all of those three may be the same card, and they may not be. So come to mind, I think Boundaries Cross is actually the Curums and not the Landorus. But say the plasma cards, like the key card is the Deoxys. It's probably one of the more popular ones out of that set, but it's not the lowest pop one. And it's the key card of the set, Plasma Freeze. You have that particular card that was on there on all of the designs, and that's the key card. So I could have done that when buying a lot of the EX series in black and white. And back when I first got into it, I was estimating that completing the EX series at that time would have cost about $150,000, maybe a little more. So probably about 3 times what I had sold it for originally. So that's what I was kind of betting on. Things weren't really increasing very much. They were steadily increasing, and I thought I had more and more time. But by the time the Logan Paul hype popped, people were buying into Wizards of the Coast, and they started going back further and further and further, then went to Modern, and then it kind of felt like they were hyping in all these categories, and slowly it was getting towards the EX series and Diamond and Pearl in the middle that were kind of like the long forgotten child or children. And so, yeah, I could have picked up a lot of these cards, Umbreon EX for $1,500, I think was somewhere around the going price back when I was first looking at it. But I thought, you know what, I could find these cards, I could grade them. Maybe that was a bit of my ego thinking that I could do a lot of those things. And so I'm sitting here thinking about that. I have a lot of those cards, and I've paid 3, 4, 5 times what the value was when I was picking up this Lugia card for $187. When I picked up Rayquaza for $1,000, Dialga here, I've been getting some offers for $40. Or no, I paid $40 for this. I just saw it. I was like, that is a steal, absolute steal. And I've been getting some offers of about $400 to $500 for it. And I think this Raikou as well. This was a $150 to $200 card, and I think now it's selling for $800 to $1,000. So there's a lot of these cards where it's like a 5 to 100%, or what is it, 500 to 1,000% profit increase. So obviously I'm selling them now to pay for PSA fees, which this month I owe about $7,000 in PSA fees. Just a lot of cards coming back. I bought a complete, EX Dragon set. I picked up a complete PSA 10 EX Dragon Frontier set. Oh geez, there's a lot of cards that I picked up in the meantime. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I know it's a little scrambled with it. I wasn't quite prepared to make the video, but I wanted to kind of make a video and get back into the habit. So if anything I said is a little unclear, feel free to ask in the comments or ask me on Instagram. I'm always happy to elaborate and talk more about certain topics. But that is those are the sales going on right now with black and white. Now let's get into some PSA returns after almost 10 minutes of me rambling. So this was an express order. Most of this stuff was sitting around for probably 3 or 4 months, just things that I couldn't grade because it was just, let's fix that light. All right. Just because I couldn't justify the PSA fees for the longest time, waiting for regular and bulk to come through, and I just couldn't. So what we have here is, geez, that is some bad lighting. Is 2 cards from a friend that I got back into collecting. They actually picked up a Zacian Celebrations box that they gave to me, and because they did that, I decided to grade these cards for them. These are, I think, $150 a card graded, and I charged them like $75 each. So that was, hopefully they'll enjoy these. These were cards that they added to their collection. 7 on the Celebi. And this beat up Kyogre is a 4, but honestly, it looks really good in the case. So yeah, those cards are going to be going back to him. And I'll get back to the Zacian box that he bought me a while ago. So these are the Fire Red Leaf Green sets, the EX Dragon complete set that I bought, master sets by the way, and some regrade attempts as well. So let's get into the Fire Red and Leaf Green. So I graded these 3 cards from that set in Express. I got 9s. Charizard and Gengar, I'm very certain would get 10s. These are pretty clean, but overall, PSA was pretty consistent. Overall, I got 9s on almost the entire sub, and the cards look fantastic. So I may resub these depending on how funds go, just because I don't have these cards in my collection, so I would like to add those. And I mean, the back is just, there's not really any white spots at all on the back. And I don't think I think the centering was the issue on this one, but I'm going to resub this one. And along with this Gengar, who has one of the best swirl placements ever. Look at that squirrel. So these two were pretty clean. I mean, the backs were just immaculate on that. Fire Red Leaf Green has a easier PSA 10 rate than some of the other sets. I regraded some of these Team Magma and Team Aqua cards. So I believe I sold the Suicune and Raikou already, but one of these I'm going to resub again. I just got to make sure which one, because it is just absolutely clean. I think there was just one scuff right there, and that was it. So I've seen some PSA 10s with a lot worse, but these were really, really clean, honestly. So I thought I'd take a shot at subbing these in. Raikou's got a nice little butt squirrel right there. So those look fantastic. And let's see, what else did I get? So this is mostly, I think this last part is EX Dragon. I think, what was the price? Was $4,000 for the complete reverse set. And I sent in just a few cards. I sent in the reverse holos to Troll and Toad, and along with a Rayquaza, just because it had a little crease in the top. Everything else was mint other than that. And I'm pretty sad about that. That was a pretty big card, but I think I should get about $1,000 back for the reverse holos. So Latias, 9. This one got 8. It has a really awesome swirl there on the bottom. The issue though is on the corner. It's kind of pressed in, not quite creased, but just kind of folded over and pressed in. I don't have any photos of that. You might be able to catch a reflection on the light of the indent on there. But the card is pretty much gem mint besides that. And I don't know if that was on the card beforehand. I should have took pictures, especially of an Express sub. I should have took some pictures of it because I don't know if that was there prior to that. And then here is a Salamence with another amazing swirl. This set this collection that I was purchasing had a lot of awesome swirl placements in it. So really happy about that. I don't know if you can see it right. Come on. There we go. Squirrel season right there. And then my only PSA 10 of the submission was this Dragonite. Awesome card by Ueda. Honestly, I really love his artwork in a lot of these EXs. I think he did a fantastic job. This card is going in the collection. I do not have it. I've seen sales for $1,300 to $2,000. So that sub or that collection, let's just call this about $1,500 in between, plus the $1,000 of the reverse holos and the Rayquaza. That's already $2,500 with just that. And last but not least is this TV Reporter card here. For those of you that are unfamiliar, EX Dragon didn't have these cards either in the US version, or it was like a smaller amount per box. It was like you had like 1 in 6 chance of getting this as a reverse holo compared to all the other ones. And then I've also heard stories that it was only printed in the UK version of the European version of the boxes. So either way, this card is really hard to get, and that's why it holds a premium just raw by itself. But the fact that it got a PSA 9 mint, this card is, I mean, it's an awesome card. I would love to have gotten this in a 10 because there's only 2 10s currently, and I don't know if those are mislabeled either. But this card is valued at about 1,000 to 1,200. I traded it at 1,200 value plus cash, so that's basically like another 1,000 plus the 2,500. So with just 3 cards alone out of that sub, I've already made back close to the original purchase price. There's still the hollows to be graded. There's a few reverse hollows that I kept, probably like 3 or 4. There were some more EXs as well. So I have the Latias, the Muck, the Kingdra. Oh, what else is there? I forget, but there's quite a few other cards that are still there waiting to be graded, and I still have to sell some of these cards. So that was that sub, and I honestly kind of enjoy having a few express subs here or there. It kind of keeps things exciting, just because PSA is taking a long time to get through this backlog. And I'll probably cap the video at about 20 minutes, so I'll go over a few more subs. So this one was from that Zacian box that I opened. He told me that there were more Zacian boxes at Target. This was the first time in probably, God, like 16 to 18 months that there were actually cards at my local Target. So I left, I left class right away, or I do like a work study position. So I left right away, went to Target, picked up 5 boxes, and with his box that he gave me, I'm pretty sure I got one of these from there, but 2 of the boxes held one of the starters, and the other box had 2 starters in it. So this was really fun. I enjoyed opening up the celebrations, the cards. Afterwards, I took all the stamp hollows, the level X's, and all these other cards, and some extra promos that I had lying around. And I also bought 15 copies of each of the Pikachu full arts for like $1. No, the guy gave it to me for like 60 cents a piece. And I turned it into a mystery pack for my girlfriend's nephews, and I gave it away. The kids were absolutely loving it. I mean, it was Pokemon themed party. They had a cake, gelatin, all of the drapes and everything else were it was Pokemon. I guess the light's coming in now. Shit. But yeah, they enjoyed it. They loved it. They were going crazy. I mean, they were going crazy all the party. And then as soon as the cards came out, they're all on the floor, quiet. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted about it. But the kids were enjoying it, and it was a really fun experience for me to see that. I enjoyed giving back to the kids. I used to do that at the local comic book shop, whether they were playing Magic. I didn't know at the time because I never played Magic correctly. As a kid, I just used to buy the theme decks, and I used to play with a few friends, or you know, the adults would just entertain me and play me a game. So I didn't know quite how draft works, and so at my local comic book shop, I would either give away like Star Wars figures, Marvel figures as prizes, or tell them to give away to kids. Hopefully they didn't sell it. For the people that were playing Magic and I was there on the weekend, I would buy 1 or 2 packs each for each person and just hand them out. And they were like, I can't use this. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I didn't quite understand how draft works. So I just told them keep it for afterwards and stuff like that. And with Dragon Ball Super and Pokemon, I did the same thing at another comic book shop later on when I wasn't collecting, after I sold everything. So I enjoy giving back to the kids, and I enjoy seeing them get into a hobby or a video game or something that they enjoy. And hopefully that creates a lifelong memory for them and things that they can get into. And maybe one day they'll get into Pokemon and use it to pay for college or a house and stuff like that. So that's been my collections or celebrations experience so far. And so I submitted the 3 starters to PSA on Express. Those are the only hits of my 6 boxes. And let's see if I can show these here. So I got sequential order Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to be auctioning these off. These aren't part of my collection. Got a lot of things to pay for, but I thought this was awesome to just have these cards and get them back. I played a game on Instagram, so if you don't follow me there, I know I keep plugging it, but it kind of makes it easier for me to play games. I like doing the polls on there, and I asked people what they thought of these getting PSA 10. And the funny thing was, the Venusaur is a little off center, but a lot of people don't realize that with PSA, it has 60/40 on the front for 10, and on the back, people were really worried, but you have a 70/30 leniency on the back for PSA 10. And so this got a PSA 10, even though 70% of the people thought it wouldn't. And everybody else was like 40, like probably 50% on these getting 10. So I know it's difficult to tell in videos or pictures of the condition of the card, but it is kind of fun to play those games. So if you enjoy kind of playing those games and guessing and seeing what the grades are, I do those and kind of have fun engaging with the hobby that way. So, or the community that way. So that is kind of an update here. Hopefully I'll have it uploaded here pretty soon. Thank all of you to the people that have reached out to me to sell things or to buy things. It really does help me. Makes things easier for me. It also makes things that I can find cards that I'm looking for. So I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you all have a fantastic weekend and see you on the next one.